Hi, John Dwyer is my name, and welcome to this presentation. I have a good colleague, a very good friend of mine, John Formica, with me. Hi, John.
Hi, JD. It's great to join you.
And just so you know, if John's referred to me as JD, my name is John Dwyer, and since I was that tall, I get JD. You don't get JF for John Formica, do you?
No, I don't.
No,
I don't.
I get JD. I get a few other names, by the way, but we won't go into that. John and myself are here to provide to you a join the dots system. And that join the dots system is to show you how you can run your business like Disney. And if you were asked the question by anyone, who would you like to emulate in terms of running a business? You're going to mention businesses probably like American Express, or you're going to mention things like Amazon, or you might mention, for argument's sake, Apple. But I'm sure that in the first half a dozen companies that you might mention in terms of being up there with running their business like a system, it would be
Disney. Absolutely. Disney's been around for a long time. They're going to continue to be around for a long time. And how do they create that stickiness based on people coming back over and over and talking about it and having the time of their life, creating memories, whatever the reason why you go. But Disney has a system in place and a formula to keep you wanting to come back over and over. And it's really about the experience.
And it's important when you say over and over, because you don't want a customer or a client once. You want them repetitively to come back and back. And what you'll be learning in this presentation, and grab a notepad and take some notes, is essentially two things. You can tell by my accent I'm Australian, and I've been around the block a few times, and I've developed over the years a direct response marketing formula, which I'm going to give you on a platter today, showing you how to attract avalanche leads. Okay, and the point is that I'm sure at the moment there will be a lot of people watching this presentation who are frustrated because they're putting money into the likes of Facebook or Instagram or even offline media, but they're just not getting the return. I'm going to show you a system and a formula how you can, in particular, go through the social media marketing channel and get avalanche leads, okay? And what John's going to contribute to this presentation is that once you've got those leads and convert those people to a customer or client, you're going to teach them how to keep people sticky.
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, JD is one of the best experts, leading authority in attracting customers, and so and I'm a sponge to everything that he does. But like any business, if you get all the customers you want, even if you have too many customers, if you don't give them a great experience, JD, they're not going to come back, and they're going to tell your friends that they didn't have a good experience, and all that marketing, that investment you put into learning how to get new customers, which is great, or just it's kind of like a funnel that JD's going to fill with new customers, but then your bucket is just going to have holes in it, and your customers are going out the bucket, and that's going to cost you a lot of money, but more importantly, it's going to be pretty frustrating.
Good, John, and thank you. And by the way, I have to warn you, this will be a little cheeky, so it's not quite like your normal online workshop or presentation. I've got about half a dozen dad jokes. Have you got some dad jokes as well?
I might be able to find one or two.
Any of my millennial children that will be watching this going, please, Dad, do not go down that path. Okay, let's kick off. I want to, and by the way, so you understand John's background. Well, can you please just give a brief rundown on the Disney involvement?
Yeah. Sure. I spent over 10 years managing Disney's hotels and resort properties when they went from 4 hotels and a campground to 16 brand new hotels in
Orlando.
In Orlando, at Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida. And my role was to hire the staff, train the staff, develop the staff, but more importantly, create an experience at a Disney resort hotel that would differentiate Disney hotels from everyone else. And so that's what I did. And I didn't just do it by doing it. I became a sponge of how Disney does it and their model and why they do it and when they do it and behind the scenes of that. And that's what I'm so excited about, because I get to share that with people like you, that you can learn that same formula, that same success strategies in any business using what Disney does. And and so that's what I'm excited about, because it's not a secret, JD, but yet most people don't know that it's so simple that they could do the same thing Disney does.
And you're going to get this formula on a platter here at this presentation. My side of the fence, I've been national marketing manager for some big companies in Australia. I've got clients around the world these days who invest in my programs because they want to know how to attract not just a small number of extra people, they want an avalanche of new leads. And we're talking about some spectacular results. I know that I'm showing off early in the presentation, but we have a client who in Australia, which is relatively small compared to the US, who experienced 812,000 leads in 1 week from one of my campaigns. So you could ask yourself, I'm not promising that we can do 812,000 leads for you or for everyone else every day of the week. However, that'll give you an idea of what we're talking about when we talk about avalanche response. And I'm going to show you in this presentation how you can use particularly Facebook to get that sort of avalanche response if you tick the boxes and you do the right things. John, let's kick off. I just wanted to explain to business owners who might be watching this, the difference between my mentality in terms of marketing advice and what you would get traditionally from an advertising agency. And having worked with Disney for 10 years, you were exposed to a lot of advertising agencies. Excuse me whilst I do this. Because advertising agencies are normally run by creatives and they're driven by the creative idea. And what they will tell you as a small business owner is that you've got to build your brand. And when you get them to fall in love with your brand, then they'll taste your product. No, I know that chances are that you don't have a McDonald's budget. And so therefore, what I'll be showing you here during this presentation is the reverse of getting them to fall in love with your brand so that they'll taste your product. I'm going to show you how you can get them to taste your product so they'll fall in love with your brand. Because the fact is, you want to make money out of your Facebook ads tomorrow, not in 5 years' time when you've built the brand. And I think that's the mistake that a lot of small to medium-sized businesses make, is that they listen to so-called marketing experts who'll tell them, well, you should put ads on the side of buses, you should put ads on the back of taxis, you should put ads on Facebook, just building your brand and your culture. That's wonderful if you are Disney, if you are McDonald's, if you are Toyota, if you are Ford. You've got all that money to sponsor the NFL or the Olympics or whatever it may be. But you know what? For most of us in small to medium-sized businesses, we don't have that money. So my philosophy is to flip that model from getting people, which is the traditional advertising agency model, getting people to fall in love with your brand so they'll taste your product, to getting them to taste your product so they'll fall in love with your brand. And you can do that, bang, overnight in an avalanche way if you know how to use Facebook, Instagram, and for that matter, any of the offline media. John, in Disney's instance, you have been able to walk away from Disney, given that you were there for 10 years, with the herbs and spices, the secret formula. And I wanted to ask you, before we go through my avalanche direct response marketing formula, you talk about Disney not believing in customer service, but rather believing in delivering extraordinary experiences. Explain a bit more about that.
Absolutely. Customer service is, we all need to serve our customers. Every business needs to do that, and obviously there's nothing wrong with that. But when you think of customer service, in my opinion, it makes a business average, because the consumer then looks at other ways they can get service that are either cheaper or more conveniently, or we know that Amazon is touching that, where you can shop in your pajamas and you don't need to do anything, go anywhere, and we'll deliver it right to your house. So if you just provide service, your staff, everybody just does the basics.
Yep.
What Disney does is they do a great job, obviously, with service, but they create an experience, and they create experiences that we all want, that are memorable, that we're going to talk about. And it's interesting, JD, when you talk about advertising, Disney does advertising like any company, but they don't do a lot that you would think, because we go there and we're their advertising, because we talk about their experiences. If they just provided a service,
in other words, referrals.
That's right. If they just talked about service, we wouldn't brag about them. We wouldn't say we had such a good time and we can't wait to go again. And that happens because Disney creates those experiences, and that's what I get excited about, because every business has an opportunity to create experiences. Yes, we know they can provide service, but can they take it to the next level to create an experience that gets talked about? And that's what I'm excited about. And JD's the expert. You will have an avalanche, there's no doubt, but you have to be able to create an experience when they get there, or while they're using your product, or whether they're using your services, that they're going to talk about. Otherwise, it's just a vicious cycle that you're just going to keep throwing money at and not get a rate of return.
As you said, holes in the bucket, or
That's
holes
right.
in the funnel.
Absolutely.
Let me just run through with you what this direct response thing is all about, so that you can take this and use it for your business. I'll give you 5 components, and if you've got a pen in your hand, you might like to take note of these. Number 1, it's all about identifying your most profitable customer and then looking for more people who look like him or her. So if you were in the skin cream business, you wouldn't, and it was wrinkle cream, you wouldn't say, oh, women are my customers. Now, largely speaking, women will be your customers, probably 95% of your customers, but you would say, well, my cream happens to be reasonably expensive, so I want professional women who are earning $80,000 or more income, who drive a BMW or a high brand motor vehicle and live in a better suburb. And the moment that you identify your most profitable target audience, because they don't mind spending $30 for the tube of cream versus someone who will go into Walmart and buy a cream for $10, once you've identified those, it's so much easier then to go looking for more people who look like them, because guess what? The wonders of Facebook, which is the most laser targeted form of advertising the world has ever seen, you can tell Facebook, this is what my audience looks like, and then they will go out and provide you with the access to a lookalike audience, they name it, and that means your Facebook ads appear predominantly in front of women who are living in better suburbs, who are earning $80,000 and drive a BMW. And that's the incredible value of you identifying your most profitable customer. It's quite easy now to go and look for more people who look like her. Number 2, create a wow factor and take their eyes off the price. Now, Disney are experts at this. When you go to Disneyland, you always leave Disneyland with probably an empty wallet. Would that be?
or a maxed out credit card.
Maxed out credit card. So therefore, it's all about firstly, identifying your most profitable customer. Secondly, creating a wow factor to take their eyes off the price. You do not want to sell on price. Leave that with Walmart and all of the big box stores. What you want to do is sell on value. And so therefore, I'll give you an example. I have 6 children. They're millennials. They're older now, but at one stage we had 6 children under 12. And when they were screaming in the back of the Tarago van, we would spend $6.2 billion at McDonald's on Happy Meals, and it was nothing to do with the hamburger. It was the free plastic toy. So they took our eyes off the price to keep the kids in the back of the van quiet. We would buy 6 Happy Meals, and of course the hamburger never got eaten. It was all about the toy. So create a wow factor for your business that takes their eye off the price. And if you've got an organic wow factor, so your product or service is just brilliant, it gets rid of wrinkles in 1 week, well, you don't need an artificial wow factor. You can just say, this cream will take 10 years off your face within 3 weeks. But if you have a product which is very similar to others, then what you might like to do is think about a Happy Meal toy. What's an artificial wow factor that you can give? I had a bank client in Australia, and we said, when you got your home loan from us, we gave you a free vacation. Now that skyrocketed their home loans incredibly, because they were the only bank in Australia that gave away a free vacation with a home loan.
How great is that?
The third thing is problem solution. And you'll see a lot of weight loss companies using this. They'll show you the problem with someone who might be overweight and not feeling good about themselves, and then they'll show you the solution, which happens to be their dietary program. And then fourth, fix your website. I'm leaning forward because I want to get that message across. Most small and medium-sized businesses have an awful website. Now, your website, whether you like to admit it or not, is your director of first impressions. It used to be little Susie who would answer the phone. She's number 2 now. The first thing we all do when we are thinking about doing business, we go onto our phone or laptop or tablet and we look at their website. So if you've got an ugly website, and chances are, because most small to medium-sized businesses have an ugly website, then you've got to fix it. And not just make it pretty, because even if it looks pretty, then of course, you're going to find that it's not, converting. You need a website that has direct response components. It has to have a benefit headline or a problem solution headline. It should have maybe a welcome video. It should have the 3 biggest benefits that you deliver with your product or service. It should have testimonials and so forth. There's a whole bunch of things on that homepage that you need to have. Because, John, if I was to ask you, what is the most important page in a women's magazine? You'd say the front cover. Well, of course, the most important page on your website is your front cover, which is your homepage. And it's amazing when you look at some businesses' homepages, in fact, most businesses' homepage, it's just, they're awful. They're awful. So therefore, you need a website that's a direct response website, not just a pretty website. And you know what? The irony is, and I have to apologise to any website designers who might be watching this, but if you were going to get a website designed, my advice to you is go nowhere near a website designer, because they are going to be a bearded hipster and they're going to be evil, okay? So therefore, you watch, I've got anyone who's a website designer now has just clicked off, but they are a graphic artist. You don't find too many website designers who have come from a marketing background. They're an artist who has morphed into now being a website designer. You want to stay clear of them. You want to deal with a marketing expert, whether it's the likes of me or someone else, who then introduces you to their website designers who understand direct response marketing. And the last thing is that you need in the 5 points is repetitive trade. And the only way you can get repetitive trade, as John was saying, get people to be sticky and come back and forth, is to collect something that starts with D and it's a 4-letter word. It's called data. And I guarantee you can walk into any restaurant in America tonight, you can spend $200, $300, $500 and they'll let you leave without collecting your details. Why they wouldn't put a little entry form in front of you that asks for your chance to win a dinner for 10 of your friends at the end of the month, just give us your name, your email and your cell number. I'll never know. It is so easy. Just put that form in front of every one of your guests at that restaurant tonight and you've got 200, 300, 400 new members of your database. Nobody collects data and they wonder why Amazon is going to send them broke in the next few years, because they do collect data. John, in your instance, if people follow that system, and you've seen some of my clients follow that system where it's make sure that you identify your most profitable customer and look for more people who look like him. Number 2, create a wow factor to take their eyes off the price. Number 3, use the problem solution formula. Number 4, fix your website for goodness sake, because it is your director of first impressions. And number 5, create a repetitive trade stimulus, by the way, which is normally a loyalty program. But you can only have a loyalty program if you collected the data in the first place. You've seen some of my clients and you've shared that particular formula with your clients. It works, doesn't it?
Oh, it's phenomenal. And again, think about it. Why on earth would we want to market our business? We want results. I mean, it might look pretty, but if it doesn't get put any heads in beds, if you're a hotel, if it doesn't bring people into my coffee shop, if it doesn't have anybody buying my product or using my services, what did I use that money for? Maybe that makes me look good, but if it doesn't respond to take action, and what JD's formula does, and I personally use it, and he's certainly helped me to be successful, and many of my clients, is that things happen. People take action because JD has everything in place to help you through that process. But more importantly, he's going to get you to do something, and that's what you want. If no matter what product or business you're in, you want people to do stuff. You want them to click. You want them to pick up the phone. You want them to buy. You want them to walk into your store. Whatever it is, that's what JD does better than anybody. And that formula is a proven system that works. And I know it works, and I'll be the first to promote it by telling others it works.
Well, John, I hope I'm not putting you on the spot here, but because we've become colleagues and friends, a little while back, John asked me to look at his website because he knew that his website is the director of first impressions. And I said, look, you're the Disney guy. And to me, it just wasn't as compelling as I felt it should be. And so we redesigned the website for you personally, and you were kind enough to give me a bit of a pat on the back. It has made a significant difference, hasn't it?
Absolutely. And again, sometimes we need people to show us. We think we know it all. You know, I'm all about the Disney experience and keeping customers and creating that great, but yet I didn't look at my own marketing and say, what can I do to create that stickiness that people be attracted? And you know, JD looked at it, and I'm grateful for it because it has taken my business to a whole nother level. People look at things differently, and that is all because what JD did. So again, I suggest that sometimes we have blinders on and we think we know it looks good to us, but JD's the expert. He's the leading authority. He'll tell you whether it looks like crap or it's going to attract customers. And if not, he'll fix it so it will.
Now, John, customer experience, of course, is the thing with Disney. And having 6 kids are adults now, but you know, for many years I'd come backwards and forwards to America from Australia because I was a Disney licensee. I actually licensed a lot of Disney product in Australia and produced books and stickers and all sorts of things. So of course I would come for a business trip to Disney, and it would cost me a fortune because the Von Trapp family would have to come with me. So I'm very, very familiar with the Disney experience. You've got a story I want you to tell about, as a senior manager, you spent some time in the park every now and again. Tell me that story.
Yeah, you know, one of the things at Disney, their theme, their purpose is to make people happy. And whether you're in the resorts, or whether you're in the hotels, whether you're in the parks, wherever your goal is to make people happy. Everybody has that philosophy and that culture. And so every year, the managers in the resort division had to work 4 hours in an hourly capacity in the parks. And you're thinking, why do that? Well, just to get a bigger understanding of the entire Disney company, and that the experiences, whether you're in the parks or in the resorts, it needs to be magical.
So you played a role, let's say, on the shop floor.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So what I did was, one time I decided that I was going to be a person walking around with a dustpan and broom, and they gave me this little area to keep clean. And you're thinking, well, that easy job, right? Just walking around with a dustpan and broom. But really, you get addressed with all these questions, people asking you, and you need to know a lot. Disney takes that job very seriously. But on this one occasion, an elderly couple asked me for directions to Fantasyland. And Disney, if you've ever been there, particularly in the Magic Kingdom, it's all circled. You just follow walkways and you get anywhere. And so my first response was to kind of give them directions and show them, just follow the walkway and you get to Fantasyland. But all of a sudden I started to sense that wasn't going to be enough, because they were nervous, they were elderly, they were scared of the crowds, and they told me that. In fact, their husband usually has a walker, didn't bring it on this trip. So I decided to take them. I said, let's go. And no, you don't have to do that. I said, yeah, let's go. So I go and escort them to Fantasyland. What the neat thing about it is I learned about World War II, about their grandkids, where they lived. And by the time we got to Fantasyland, what we really created, JD, was an experience, a relationship. Mm-hmm. When they went back to their hometown, who were they going to talk about?
Yep.
Me. And I was just doing something that's natural that any Disney cast member would do, because they're not providing service, would be just pointing and saying, just follow the walkway. But engaging them in a conversation and making them feel comfortable is creating an experience. In this case, it was memorable.
Yeah.
And so that was the neat thing to do. But I still had a job. I still had to come back. So I come back with a sense of urgency, and I can't find my dustpan and broom. It's nowhere to be found. I'm wondering, where is it? And lo and behold, my supervisor had picked it up and was cleaning the area as it became very busy. And so I went up to my supervisor and kind of in this sense of urgency. And the first question they asked is, are you okay? Is there emergency, safety issue? I said, no, I just had to escort a guest that needed extra little help to get to Fantasyland. What do you think my boss at Disney said? Well, JD, they said, great job, because that's what we do. We make people happy. We create those experiences, and wanted to share that with all the other cast members in the park. The neat thing about it was I got an opportunity to do something, because at Disney, it's all about the experience. And we learn to empower our staff. We learn about the culture, is that purpose is more important than just your job. Your job's important, got to do it. Mm. But as long as you're making people happy by giving them an experience. And think about it, how many businesses out there that we focus on tasks and service, and yet your employee wants to go a little bit out of the way and they get chastised or they get reprimanded because they stepped out of their boundary. And the key is to develop that culture where experience comes first, not last. And that's what we try to do.
And John, I think a really important part of that story that you haven't touched on just yet, but I've heard you explain that story before, was what the attitude of your boss at the time, he didn't know that you're an executive, he thought you were just cleaning that. The attitude could have been the opposite, because just explain how you normally explain that, where he could have said to you, well, if everyone, explain that.
See, here I am leaving my post to go make someone happy, but yet I'm not doing my job. Most businesses, most managers, and most people probably watching this video, you know that's not the typical response. The typical response from a manager or leader would be, where are you? Where'd you go? Why did you leave? And it kind of questions that you should have been doing your job. Who gave you permission to go leave?
And if you did that for everyone.
That's right. And where at Disney, that's not the exception. That's the norm, is to go ahead and create those experiences. And just by serving them and pointing in a direction is not gonna cut it. So the response from Disney management is they're supportive of that. There's a difference between service and experience, and there's a difference between doing what's you're paid to do, and that is to make people happy. The job will come. Everybody can chip in and get that job, and positive reinforcement and all those things are great. But again, it's just taught me that the culture at Disney is all about the experience and how important that experience is to Disney. Without the experience, you and I are not going to Disney.
No. Now, think about that for your business, because what I want you to think about is the relevance of both the information that's coming from me from a client attraction point of view and what's coming from John in terms of a client stickiness point of view. Have you got either of those? And chances are that you don't, because it's interesting, when I'm speaking in front of business owners, I say to them, do you think that having advertising or marketing stroke sales skills is the most important thing in business? Because if you don't have any sales, then you don't have a business. And everyone puts their hand up. They go, yep, of course it is. We've got to know marketing and advertising. And then I say to them, okay, well, who in the room has an accountant? And they all put their hand up, like 100 out of 100. Who has a lawyer? And pretty much most of them put their hand up. Okay, good. 30 seconds ago, you just told me that sales and marketing skills is the most important thing in business. Who has anyone advising them on sales and marketing skills? You can hear the crickets in the background. The irony is everybody accepts that what we're talking about here is absolutely vital for any business, but they have nobody advising them on that. What they're doing is making stuff up on the run and wondering why their Facebook ads aren't working, why their Instagram ads aren't working, why their letterbox brochures, or if they're a bigger small business, maybe TV or radio, they wonder why that's not working. It's because they're making it up on the run. They're not developing a marketing plan with a system. And I'll be showing you a little bit later with John how you can tap into this system if you're interested. Now, you're going to get great value out of this presentation whether you decide to hang around with us or not. So you know that whenever you're holding one of these presentations, yes, there's an offer at the end of it. We have to put food on the table, just like you, but you're not obliged to become a member of that. If you choose to just watch this presentation and grab as much as you can and try and implement this stuff yourself, that's fine. We can just fast track that for you if you're interested in becoming part of our program. John, I want you to talk about needs and wants. Very, very important distinction between needs and wants.
Absolutely. You know, and that's where customer service versus the customer experience. When you service somebody in your business by providing them a product or service, you're really just satisfying their needs. And everybody has a need. Everybody, if I need flowers, I'm going to go to a florist. If I need my teeth worked on, I'm going to go to a dentist. If I need to get my car fixed, I'm going to go to an auto service repair shop. And they will fulfill my needs. I have a problem that needs to get solved. I have a budget. I don't want to spend a lot of money. I want those things. I might need advice. I might need information, and I might need it done as quickly as possible. Those are typical things that people need. But the key is people buy on emotion, and emotions come from wants. What is it that your customer wants? We know they need your product and service. There's no doubt. You wouldn't be in business if you didn't think people needed it. But if you don't capture what they want, which creates that emotional connection, one, they may not buy, but two, they're not going to buy again until they're friends. And that's where you want to create the emotion, because emotion creates loyalty. And we all are loyal to a product, a restaurant, whatever it may be. We have friends. We want to continue to do business because people want to do business with people we like. And if you don't satisfy my wants, why would I like you? I can go to anybody and get my needs satisfied. And in any business, you then become a commodity. And you don't want to be a commodity because now you're competing on price and you're not going to win. There's too many other opportunities out there, whether it's an Amazon, whether it's a big box store like a Walmart or a Kmart, you just can't compete on price.
I'm glad you brought that up because I'm sure there are so many people watching this who own a business, and the first port of call they visit when they want to stimulate sales is to drop their prices.
Yeah.
That is a cardinal sin. And I'm not saying that you may not have a price discount of X percent 2 or 3 times a year because you've got to get rid of dead stock or you need to stimulate cash flow. So I'm not saying that you should never, but really make it your last port of call, not your first port of call. And where John and I come from is a value add perspective. And that's what Disney do so well. They value add with some of the examples that John's already given you. My view is you need to do that. So instead of price discounting, if you were a hotel, you might say, stay for 4 nights and get the 5th night for free. You know, and I know that's a quasi discount, but it's not promoted that way. In my instance, I would say to a client who might be a landscaper, lawn mowing guy, well, before you leave, why don't you get a bucket with water and soap with a squeegee and clean Mrs. Smith's windows? And guess what? When you go to the front door to collect your payment for mowing her lawn, she's going to be blown away with the Happy Meal toy that you've given her, which of course is you've said to her you've cleaned her windows. Now, guess what? If another lawn mowing guy puts a flyer in her letterbox next week and says that he can mow lawns for cheaper than you, she's not going to swap because you're the only lawn mowing guy that cleans her windows each time you come, or cleans a car, whatever it may be. So it's all about value adding, not price discounting.
That's right.
And the formula that both I have and John, and the reason that we're doing this together is because we are peaches and cream. We feel that we are. I'm the avalanche leads generator, getting you big numbers from your Facebook ads and from your Instagram ads or your letterbox flyers or whatever it may be. And in John's instance, he is the guy that helps you keep those people sticky and gets them coming back and back and back. John, there's another story in terms of extraordinary customer experiences that stimulate people to come back to Disney over and over, and that is the broken toilet in the restaurant. You've got to tell that story. Just listen to this. If you are about to jump off and go for a cup of coffee, stick with us. You're going to love this story and just how you can take this same philosophy and implement it into your business.
So think about this. Things are going to go wrong in any business. The neat thing about Disney is there's always a plan when something goes wrong. And JD, in his marketing genius, talks about the Happy Meal toy of taking your eye off the price, right, JD? Mm-hmm. Well, what if you took the eye off the problem? And that's what Disney does. They know that something's going to go wrong, but then they sort of create a magical experience from that, which is really turns into a marketing experience because people will talk about it. And so think about this. If you've ever stayed at a hotel somewhere and the back of the toilet runs and makes this hissing noise or whatever it is, it's pretty inconvenient, makes noise usually at not the right time, maybe keep you up at night or whatever it is. Typically what you do is you report it and you hope that somebody from maintenance will come up and fix it. And they usually do it and it's all done. The problem is that that's not a great experience. We know that up front. Two, they're worrying if you fixed it or not, because when they get back to the room, they don't know if you fixed it. They assume you fixed it, but when you walked into the room when you first checked in, you thought there was nothing wrong. And three, they're still not happy with the fact that they were inconvenienced of some sort. So at Disney, we came up with a plan, and again, this is developing a culture where your employees come up with this. It's not managers and owners coming up with this ideas. It's your frontline staff, and that's some of the things I'm going to share. How do you create that ownership in your organization so your people are doing this, not you as the owner? So when you get back to the room, what we first did was we put a little tent card, a little thank you card from the maintenance person saying, hey, we're sorry for the inconvenience. Your toilet's been fixed. Have a magical day. And at least it set people at ease knowing that Disney is on top of it and they fixed it. That's
so
Disney.
These people where the toilet was sissing, they've gone out to the theme park.
That's right. They'd come back to their room and they would find that on the toilet. Well, Disney's all about creating magical, memorable experiences. So asked my staff, what could we do to what Walt Disney used to call the plus factor, and what could you do make it this much more magical? And what we decided to do was next to every tent card on the top of the toilet tank, we put a little Disney character figurine next to the tent card. And this was the Happy Meal toy. This was the shock experience, because if you saw this and you had children, what do you think they would do, JD? They'd go nuts over this. In fact, they would go so crazy, we had to figure out how many kids were in the room, because you had to put multiple ones. You can't just have one if there's 3 kids in the room. And they would grab this, they would hug it, they would sleep with it, they would eat with it, they would just talk about this thing. Now, are they worried about their toilet anymore? No, that is over. But here's the neat thing. You talk about marketing. You talk about a Happy Meal toy. You think it's done, right? They got a nice little toy out of it. Pretty cool.
So can I get this straight? I want to get this straight. So therefore, there's a tent card that says, look, we've fixed your toilet. We're sorry for the inconvenience. And depending upon the number of children, there were a Mickey Mouse figurine
could be Mickey,
on
Goofy,
their bed, or where was it?
It was right next to the tent card. So
near the
right
toilet.
next to the tent card. So they immediately go to their toilet. They see that it's fixed, but now there's a little toy that kind of takes their mind off that.
2 or 3.
Or 3, depending on the rooms. And it doesn't have to be Mickey. It could have been anybody. But the key was this. Think about this. They go home, going to see their friends and relatives, and they're going to say, how was your trip to Disney? And of course, oh, it was great. We did this. We saw this show. We took pictures with Mickey. Everything was great. But then they're going to say, oh, we had this one challenge one time where our toilet was running. And their friends or neighbors are going to go, oh, that's a shame. We're sorry to hear that. And they go, no, it's great, because look what we got. And they talk about this, and they're excited about it. The kids are talking about it. You know what their friends are saying, JD? When they go to Disney World, they hope their toilets run too, because they all want one of these things. I've had people come up to me. As the manager of the hotel, I've had people come up to me and say, if I would have known that that little figurine would have given my child so much pleasure, I would have bought a box and saved $10,000.
And go to Disney World.
It's taking the eye off the problem. But these are that. And could you imagine if you could learn these and a dozen more that we used to use, that you can use in any business, that I have some of my clients using, that will plus it by one, but more importantly, create a story. I always say marketing is about the stories that get told. It's not just about selling products. If they're not saying any good stories about your business, then you're really not marketing. You're just there. And so these little things and more can create those stories. And just imagine if you knew what we talked about, needs and wants. If you knew what your customers really want, I'll show you what they really want. And if you can connect the dots and give your customers what they really want, JD, that's where you get them emotionally. And then you add on this plus factor. I'm telling you, you're going to be the top of mind awareness in your business.
I think, John, you were talking about the plus factor being called plus one at Disney. So whatever they think is the optimum offer, they then plus one it. They just sit down, brainstorm, and go, well, let's push the envelope a bit further.
And that's when you continue to go to Disney over and over and continue to get wowed and continue to have an experience that's even better than the one you went last time, or better than the ones your friends or relatives told you that they had. It's because every single employee is focused on what can we do this much more.
Plus one.
Plus one to make it that much better. And I don't care if you're in bookkeeping, if you're in landscaping, you're in custodial, you park cars, you're in the food and beverage area. It doesn't make a difference at Disney. Everyone's thinking about what they can do this much and have fun with it and get excited about it and get recognized and rewarded for it. That's the culture you want in your business, and I can show you how you do that.
Absolutely. And when John has spoken at a number of conferences that we've held down under in Australia, he's blown everyone away with, explaining what he's just explained and other stories as well. But where he has gained incredibly focused attention from business owners is that it is a system that you can implement into any business. And so is mine. The direct response marketing of getting an avalanche number of leads, and these days predominantly it's online through either Facebook or Instagram or Google AdWords, or it's using email campaigns or SMS. They're all things that will allow you to scale your business very quickly. So gone are the days that you just had the local newspaper or the local radio station. You can now scale your business globally if you know how to use Facebook, and we're going to touch on that in just a moment. And in John's instance, the system that he has, that he's basically taken with him as a result of the time that he spent at Disney, you can implement that into any business. It doesn't matter whether you are a butcher, a baker, whether you're a landscaper, a dentist, a doctor, a lawyer, it doesn't matter what you are, you can use this formula. And John, before I touch on my Facebook formula, because I think that's an important thing for people to take away with them, could I just ask you, in terms of the, staff selection, which in Disney they call them cast members, can you talk about the George Costanza thing in terms of square pegs for square holes and round pegs for round holes? Can you just touch on that? Because if you're a business and you're starting to put a team around you, you might just be a mum and pop business at the moment, but you're thinking about employing maybe 1 or 2 or 3 extra people. You're going to be very interested to hear what John's got to say about how Disney selects its cast members.
Absolutely. Walt Disney said a long time, JD, he said, you can design and create and build the most wonderful place in the world, but it takes people to make the dream a reality. And I don't care what business you're in, I don't care what product you have, if you have the wrong people working there, there's a lot of things that are going wrong. One, as a manager or a business owner, you're in the babysitting business, and that's not why you got into business, to be an owner or a manager. And 2, you're having to force people to do things because they have to, not because they want to. And so if you can get the right person in the right role, you're going to have your life so much easier, but more importantly, you're going to create that culture. And that's one of the things that Disney does. They don't just hire people and then try to sort of hope that they mesh into the Disney philosophy. They hire people that believe in Disney's philosophy, which is making people happy. Think about it. You're going to work when other people play, you're going to work weekends, you're going to work holidays. you got to have the right frame of mind of person that wants to do that. Otherwise, they just have a job.
Yep.
And and I'm talking to people looking at us right now. You have people that just are there for a job, and that's okay. We all need to get paid. I get all that. But if you get people that believe in what you believe in, and you put them in the right role, they will go up and beyond, and you don't have to babysit them. And I'll give you an example. If you think of an actor or an actress, they have to play a part. They have to. They get trained. They're great actors or actresses. But every single movie, every single theater, every single TV show, it's a different role they have to play, and they have to get really good at playing that role. Why? Because if you have the wrong person in the wrong role, it won't work. A perfect example I use is those have watched Seinfeld for many, many years, one of the most popular, successful sitcoms in America, maybe even around the world. Huge fan of them, and I was always mesmerized by George Costanza, who was my favorite character. We all know him as George Costanza's real name, Jason Alexander. And he is an incredible actor. And what most people don't know about him is that he won a Tony Award for singing and dancing in a musical on Broadway. He's been nominated for Academy Awards. He's won Emmy Awards, and now he's doing things internationally. He's winning and just one of the most respected actors out there. But although he's a great actor, JD, he can't play every part, can he?
No, of course not.
So, and I mean that because I just love what he does. But think about it. Would you hire Jason Alexander to play the part of James Bond? He doesn't look the part. I always joke, my wife says she has no desire to see Jason Alexander come out of the ocean with his shirt off, but she'll stare at the new Bond for days. Why? Because the new Bond plays that role that we all are imagining what we want in a James Bond. But unfortunately, you have people in your business, I know you do, that are George Costanzas, and they're playing the part of James Bond, and you think you can make it work. And you have to get the right people in the right role. And so one of the things I'm going to share is how do you find people, how do you hire people, and then how do you keep people in those roles? Because when people are in the right role, JD, their heart's in it. I tell people never hire anybody that needs a job, which is profound. Hire people that believe in what you believe in. And you got to get out of that warm body syndrome. You got to get out of that, I'll take anybody and then I'll convert them to our system, or I'll convert them to our culture. You need to know what your role is and then find people to fill those roles. And when you do, that's when the magic. And I could share hundreds and hundreds of stories where when I'm speaking in front of audiences, when I'm training, I'll ask people, tell me an example about a Disney experience. They don't tell me about the monorail being at Disney World being so efficient. They don't tell me that the hamburgers taste great. They don't tell me that Space Mountain's the best ride. They tell me about people. They'll tell me about a housekeeper who put all of their the toys of the children on the bed with a handwritten note that said, "We missed you." They'll talk about the items where the landscaper will give a little card on how to take care of plants at home, just like these, so that people say, "Well, how do you keep them so trimmed?" Here's a little card with little tips on how to do it. Wow. It's little things like that they'll go back and tell stories about people, not about product. And that's what you want. You want people telling stories about your people. And imagine if you knew how to get the right people and how to take good care of them so that they can.
And I think there might be a certain person that's sitting in this environment right now that has that formula of how to get the right people.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'm teasing. We'll talk more about that. John, Facebook is on the tip of everyone's tongue. Mm-hmm. It's the new black, isn't it?
It's not going away.
It's not going away. And you've got an opportunity, particularly in this time, to exploit Facebook as a communications and lead generation channel for an incredibly low price. And you might shake your head and go, "Oh no, it's not that cheap." Yes, it is. If you have been dabbling with Google AdWords over the last 5, 6, 7 years, you'll notice that price per click has gone up and up and up and up and up. And depending upon how busy your product or service category is, you can be paying now $25, $30, $40 a click with Google AdWords. Well, guess what? You can still get Facebook, which is incredibly powerful, for a relatively good price per click if you know what you're doing. And I want to show you how you should be using Facebook. And John and I have had this discussion off camera. And John said to me, what's the biggest mistake that most people make on Facebook? And it is that they think they can do a one-step sell. In other words, using Facebook like they used to use radio or TV or newspaper or letterbox brochure. No, you do not want to use Facebook as a one-step sell. You should use Facebook as a data capture facility. In other words, a leads generator. And I'll show you right now on the screen an example. And this happens to be a kitchen renovation company. And guess what a kitchen renovation company's target audience looks like? Well, they're going to be older people who live in an older home, because you don't want your kitchen renovated if you've just bought a new home, obviously. So they're looking for people in suburbs, communities that have got a 20, 30, 40-year-old home because they've got an older kitchen. And so you'll see on your screen at the moment the Facebook ad that we put together for them. And you'll see there's two pictures of kitchens. There's A and there's B. And we're saying to people where we've targeted that lookalike audience to suburbs, zip codes, if you like, that have only got older homes. So therefore, we're minimising our wastage. We're saying to those people as they stop on our advertisement through their newsfeed, listen, we've got 2 brand new kitchen designs that we're thinking about releasing. We're just doing a survey, a poll, to find out which might be the most popular. And as it's turned out, we just invite you to click the button and go through to potentially win a $10,000 kitchen makeover if your name is drawn from the winning poll. So therefore, you click the ad, you go through to the landing page, which you'll see on your screen right now. And again, you'll see the 2 kitchen photographs, A and B, and you will just vote for A or B. And if your particular kitchen is the one that wins the overall vote, then you're in the draw to win the kitchen makeover. And of course, one person's drawn and they win the prize. A really, really, really inexpensive way of gathering massive, massive leads for people who want a kitchen makeover. Because let's face it, if they're voting to win a kitchen makeover, have they not just glowed in the dark as someone who would like their old kitchen renovated? Of course they have.
No-brainer.
Absolute no-brainer. And the example that you have on your screen right now, basically we had to shut that campaign down after 6 days, because in 6 days they had 6 months worth of leads. They could not handle it. They knew what their conversion rate was within a day, because as they ring back and say, look, I'm sorry you haven't won the contest, but it looks like you really do need a new kitchen. Would you like us to provide you with a free quotation, no obligation? 6 days worth of advertising, and I think the expenditure on that campaign was about $120, $130 a day. So multiply that by 6 days and then get 6 months worth of leads. Would you like that? Another one I want to show you, and this happens to be in Australian language, we call it aluminium, but in America I think you call it aluminum. Aluminum, okay? They make aluminum fences, particularly for backyards. Now, who's their target audience? Ironically, I'm giving you 2 examples that happen to be geared up towards older homes, and we've got lots more examples, but these are 2 stunning ones. So that's why I've picked them out. They are after people, again, with a home that might be 20 or 30 or 40 years old, that has the old wooden paling fence falling down. And they were advertising features previously to becoming part of my environment. And you don't want to advertise features, you want to advertise benefits. If features sold, then the weight loss companies would be showing Facebook ads with a bowl of rice, okay? But no, they show before and after photos of people who have lost weight. So therefore, you want to concentrate on the benefits. And when I asked this particular company, well, why isn't your Facebook, or they asked me, why isn't our Facebook advertising working? And I looked at their ad, it was just a picture of an aluminum fence. I said, you're showing the features. Yeah. And so therefore I said, would you like to move away a little bit and let us take this over? So we did, and we put together a campaign, which was the ugliest back fence in Australia campaign. We zeroed it in on the zip codes that had older homes with older fences, of course, that were falling over. And we said, take a photo of your old falling down decrepit fence and post it to our Facebook page for the chance to win a $5,000 fence makeover, which of course would have cost the aluminum fence company $1,000. 2 years worth of leads in 3 days. He rang me up and said, JD, can you please shut this down? We've got 2 years worth of leads. We'll never get through them, because it flushes out everyone who had a bad back fence, took a photo, posted it up to the Facebook page with their contact details. 2 years worth of leads in 3 days. It is that simple, and it's all about using Facebook in a 2-step sell. The first step is to generate the information, the data, is to get their name and contact details, particularly their cell number. It's fine to get their email, but in the world that we live in now, where we've all abused email because it's free, then the email open rates are going south. You know that. Guess what? worldwide, the statistics are that 94% of text messages are open within 3 minutes. So do you want to send out emails that might get a 10 or 15 or 20% open rate? Or would you like to go with an SMS text message that gets a 94% open rate? I know which one I'd go for. And so what happens is at the moment that you actually run a two-step sell campaign with Facebook, and you get someone to actually provide their details because they might win something like that, or they might get a free report, or they're entering a survey where they get a bonus for actually answering the questions, then of course you're getting their name, their email, and their cell number. The main thing you want is their cell number, because I can assure you, if you follow them up after that, in other words, your second step is the follow-up. The first step is to capture the data. If you follow them up with SMS, there's a very good chance you're going to get 94% of those people open your SMS.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
And John, in terms of Facebook and digital marketing, Disney are way up there in terms of being sophisticated with that. And you were saying to me before we started the presentation, they are absolutely experts at collecting data now. So much so that when you go into one of their theme parks, you get a wristband, don't you?
That's right. You get a wristband, and it's got all the information, your spending habits at Disney. You know, there's obviously some great benefits of having a band, and again, ties it into the fact that you only get this if you stay at a Disney Resort hotel. So there's a benefit for staying at a Disney Resort hotel. Most people think, well, you're closer. Yeah, that's a benefit. Nothing wrong with being closer to the park, right? But they took it to the next level by using technology so now you get a band. So the band you use to open up your room, you make your dinner reservations, your rides, your meal ticket, everything is on this to make it easy to do business, easy to convenient. You don't have to walk around with cards and you know, for your room, a card to charge, all that good stuff. But the neat thing about it is that Disney is capturing that data, you know, digitally, so that you don't even know it, but they have a record of you. So now they can market to you when you go home.
Based on your behavior.
Based on your behavior, what you did you enjoy it, how you liked it. But more importantly, they're getting data. They don't know who's visiting parks at when's the busiest time. So there's a lot of strategic, you know, things behind this, but they're gathering data about you.
Of course.
And that's what JD's talking about. And
So Disney are doing an Amazon.
everybody, they're doing it. And the thing that I just got to share this, that, you know, JD is just an expert at this stuff. Just, could you imagine him doing this for you? I mean, every time I talk to him, I'm learning more about. I thought I knew a lot about Facebook. I read a lot. I study a lot. A lot of my clients but his stuff is just works. And I'm thinking, why didn't I think of that? And that's what's so great about your system, JD, is that it works. That Facebook ads, and do it with the least amount of money investment that you can get these, like you said, having to shut down. Who wouldn't want to have enough leads that you got to shut it down?
By the way, this is sounding a little like a bromance. I know. Okay.
It works. I love doing business with people that know what they're talking about.
But even though we joke about sounding a little bit like a bromance, the thing is that we do joke that we're two brothers from a different mother, even though we're from different parts of the world. When we bumped into each other and we started to jam with these sorts of conversations, not with a camera on, of course, but it was so similar in terms of, you know, and I know peaches and cream sounds really, really corny, but it is the reason we've set up what you're about to hear about, and that is a program that you can invest in a monthly subscription where you get access to us and access to our resources. It just works. We believe it works because you get the best of both worlds. You get the formula from me of attracting large, I call it avalanche, numbers of leads. I also show you how to convert those. But of course, as a business owner, you're probably sitting there going, look, don't worry about the conversion. We've got that. You just give me more leads, and like the aluminum fence guy and the kitchen renovator, they say to me, look, we know how to close. Just get us more leads. And I'm sure that most business owners would say that. So I've got that. And this guy here, John, with his Disney experience, and by the way, quite a bit of hospitality experience outside of that, but let's look at the 10 years that he spent with Disney. He's walked away with their formula of how to get them to come back and back and back and back. And of course, just the example he's given you about the wristbands now, where they're tracking your purchase pattern when you're inside a Disney World complex, so that then for life, they have your behavior. They know what sort of food you ate at the restaurant. They know how often you went to one theme park versus the other. They know what times you came in and out of your hotel. They know whether you took things from the bar fridge. They know everything about you. I mean, it's talk about Big Brother, but a nice Big Brother, a Disney Big Brother.
Right.
The point is, then they can use that for what we call behavioral marketing. And behavioral marketing these days is so much more powerful if you can do it digitally, if you can do it online. So, John, what I'd like to do is to, with your permission, no, we don't need their permission. I can't hear you, so we're just going to do it anyway, okay? And that is show you how you can become a member of our program, which is called If Disney Ran Your Business, What Would It Look Like? And so, John, we're just going to go through that and show everyone the opportunity that they have. We think it's an insanely modest, small investment for the intellectual property value that you're going to gain, for the systems, for the formula that you're going to get in both attracting new customers and then keeping them. So we'll get into it.
Absolutely. And what I love about our system, JD, and our formula is that you got to have both. You can't just have one without the other. If you have a great marketing system, which is great, and you're attracting all customers, but your staff isn't trained, they don't understand their roles, that you're not creating an experience, then it didn't work. The same thing is you can have great experiences with people, but okay, you still got to get new customers.
Absolutely.
And we got to still create that attraction. Maybe it's your marketing side that you need help on, and that's where the two are going to come together. Imagine if you had both people helping you on both ends. It's a no-brainer.
Particularly if one of those people helping you had a garishly colourful tie.
That's right. A Disney tie too, by the way.
When we sat down to do this presentation, I said to John, I'm going to have to get my sunglasses. But again, all jokes aside, here I am criticising sarcastically my brother from another mother. But imagine if you've got the Disney guy here and he didn't have that on. See, that's a wow factor. And we've gone all of this time, and I haven't mentioned, my business is called the Institute of Wow. And it's all about showing people how to create wow factors to take their customers' eyes off the price. Hence the Happy Meal toy and all that problem solution, all that sort of stuff. And when John arrived for, shooting this presentation, I did my normal sarcasm, like, oh gosh, please. But that's Disney.
I'm the ex-Disney guy, and I'm not the ex-Disney guy for nothing.
Exactly.
And truly, I got a watch. I got it all because
we don't want to hear about the underpants.
No. I won't share that. But I have a passion for Disney. I'm not competing with Disney. I'm not gonna be better than Disney. Disney is an awesome company, but their success formula is not a secret. It's not like the Kentucky Fried Chicken formula that's locked in some vault somewhere. These are success principles that I've taken outside of Disney, and I've helped hundreds and hundreds of businesses around the world to tweak it a little bit, whatever they need to do to make their business successful. And again, we hear it all the time, JD, right? Well, my business is different.
No, it's not.
I'm glad your business is different, but you want to make money, right? That's why you're in business. And that is the common factor. We all want to make money. We all want to be successful. We all want to be able to provide for our families. And you need to know how to do that. And just imagine if you had people helping you. And I'm passionate because I love the Disney model. I love what Disney does. I certainly respect their brand. But I'm going to just show you how they do it and then connect the dots that you'll be able to do it too.
Yeah, well, connect the dots is it. Really what we're talking about is a combination of my client attraction system, predominantly online these days because it's fast and it creates avalanche response if you do it properly. So my side of it is customer attraction, leads attraction. John's side of it is that once they become a customer, he'll show you a formula that Disney uses of how to keep them coming back and back and back and back. So let's get into it, John. We'll show you exactly how you can join our program, which is appropriately called If Disney Ran Your Business, What Would It Look Like? So, John, let's divulge what the program is all about. If Disney ran your business, what would it look like? And I think you're going to be pretty excited when you see the contents of this program, the fact that you are going to get the inner circle secrets of how to run your business like Disney. And of course, you're also going to find out how you can attract customers sort of, I guess, on call when you want to, but not just in a small way, but an avalanche way. Mm-hmm. We'll get into it, Jono?
Let's do it.
Okay. Now, inclusion number one in the program is access to Wow Central. And you might ask, well, what's Wow Central? I thought it would be a good idea a couple of years back if I created a website, an online presence that had all of my winning ideas for industries across anything you can possibly think of. We're talking pharmacies, we're talking agriculture, hospitality, we're talking butchers, we're talking hair salon, we're talking any industry you can possibly think of between A and Z, I've looked after. I'm not 25 anymore, so I've been around the block a few times and I've looked after every possible industry you could think of. Probably Z, I haven't looked after a zoo, John. So if you have a zoo, well, tough luck, tune out right now. I haven't done a zoo, but I've done practically everything else between A and Z. And what I've done is that I've taken the essence of all of those marketing plans, I've picked the best ones out, and I've put those marketing plans together with the marketing executions and strategies into this unbelievably large online library, which appropriately we've called Wow Central. Name of my business is the Institute of Wow, so it's called Wow Central. And it's all about showing you how to drive traffic to your website. You see how this all adds up? It is peaches and cream. And in this particular Wow Central, it doesn't matter what business you are. I've just written a few business types down here, okay, so I can run through them. You can be an accountant, you can be a childcare centre, you can be a hotel, mechanics, cleaner, you can be a restaurant, you can be a beauty parlour, you can be a spa, real estate, you can be an online specialist, you can be in retail or travel or medical or fitness or your hair, butcher, hair salon. I could go on and on and on. It doesn't matter what business you are, there's a pretty good chance that we're going to be able to cater for you in this Wow Central, because what I've done is that I've taken all of the concepts and ideas that I've created throughout the years in my marketing consultancy, and I've put them into this magnificent, like, I know I'm talking it up, but it's crazy. It's taken us 2 years to build this site, by the way, okay? It's a massive website, and you won't find anything like it anywhere in the world. This is a swipe file from heaven. An access for you for brochures, for Facebook ads, for website designs, for marketing plans. You'll be able to just swipe full on 20, 30-page marketing plans. Now, we've taken out the confidential information of private clients of mine who I've put the marketing plans together for, but you've got the essence, the template of the marketing plan. So it doesn't matter. Let me just, again, go through some industries. It doesn't matter whether you're an accountant, whether you're in the spa business, or whether you're a mechanic, or whether you're a cleaner, or you own a restaurant, or you've got an online consultancy business, or you're in retail, or travel, or fitness, or landscaping, or whatever it may be. Pretty strong chance that there is a 20 to 30 page full-on marketing plan within Wow Central that you're just going to be able to swipe, put your name on all of the, if you like, recommendations that I've given you there, online and offline, and run with it. It is insane. It's like having me sitting next to you, next door, and just providing you with ideas whenever you want them. So this is a massive swipe file. Wow Central is a massive swipe file for you just to get in and take whatever you want. You can also search in the website, by the way, by advertising category. So if you just wanted to learn more about how to do Facebook ads, you just wanted to learn more about how to put together letterbox brochures, you just wanted to learn more about how to get free publicity and send out media releases and get free publicity, that's all in there too. So you can search in Wow Central by advertising category, and you can also search by your industry. Now, most people who come on board search by industry. Okay, so that's Wow Central. It is an incredibly valuable resource. John, you've been into Wow Central, haven't you?
It's Wow Central for a reason, JD. It's a wow. Imagine sitting in your pajamas in your home whenever you want to and have access to years and years and years of experience. How valuable would that be? Where, again, you can try Googling it all out on your own and trying to figure that out. It is all strategically placed there for you, and I've gone through it, and there's just so much there that alone it just
is worth a monthly
absolutely
subscription.
Because again, imagine at your fingertips. Anything you can imagine need to help market your business is all there for you.
It's sort of like I guess I say to people, sort of like having me sitting in the office next door to you, and when you need some help because you think, well, I've got to put a Facebook campaign together or an Instagram campaign, or I want to put out a letterbox flyer, it'd be like yelling across the corridor, JD, can you give me an idea for a letterbox? Well, you just go into Wow Central, type in your business type, florist, dentist, doctor, architect, and you'll more likely find that there's a whole bunch of ideas for your industry in there. On Facebook or on Instagram or on flyers or whatever it may be. So that's the first inclusion. It's a wildly valuable one. The second component in this program is called the WOW Manifesto. I'm showing it a little bit closer to the screen. And this is, as you can see, in a hard copy, quite a thick dossier. And this is my client attraction system. It includes the 5 components that I showed you on the Wheel of Wow earlier, but let me take you through what's inside this system where you can just swipe it and use it. As we go through the 12, I guess, parts of this system, you'll see here, number 1 is all about identifying your most profitable customer and looking for more people who look like them. Number 2 is be the expert. Gordon Ramsay charges a lot more money to cook dinner for someone than many of the other chefs because he's been clever enough to create a celebrity expert status, and people pay more money to experts. Number 3, how to create a wow factor and take their eyes off the price. That's the Happy Meal toy. Number 4, how to use direct response, emotional direct response marketing to take their eyes off the price. And generally, that's my problem solution formula. Number 5, create a website that sells, and we'll show you here exactly the components that you need to have on your homepage for a website to actually make your website sell. You don't want a pretty website. You want a website that's going to convert visitors into clients. Number 6, do events. And what you're experiencing here with John and I is that we're doing an event. Call it a webcast or a webinar, call it what you like, but you need to consider doing events because that's how you can scale your business. When you do events, whether it's seminars or webcasts like this, then of course what you're doing is you're scaling. And if you want to make more money with less effort, then you need to scale. Number 7, use video testimonials. Not many people use them successfully because a lot of people will have Esme saying, oh yes, Charlie did a good job in mowing my lawn, and that's it. No. You want her to say, Charlie, compared to all of the other guys that I've had mowing my lawn over the years, is brilliant. And guess what? He even cleans my windows. And he's fathered 2 of my children. So maybe not that last part, but you know what I mean. And number 8, get free publicity. Now, you can get free publicity very easily, particularly in this world that we live in now, which is the online world, if you know how to put together media releases. And we give you templates. It doesn't matter what business you're in, just grab the template and then get free publicity. Number 9, customer service. Well, John, I have to probably say that I've pinched a lot of this from you. It's delivering incredible, extraordinary customer service, but it's not customer service, of course, it's customer experiences. And number 10, build repetitive trade. Of course, how do you do that? Of course, is collecting the data in the first place and get them to come back and back. And again, I've stolen a lot of that from my colleague, John, because Disney know how to do that better than anyone. And here's the big one, number 11. Social media, the lead generation machine. Okay, now this is a chapter that, again, just this chapter is worth the monthly investment in this program because I'm going to be giving you templates of Facebook and Instagram ads that you can just swipe and use for your business. I'll show you how to create emotional taglines underneath the graphic. Now, whether the graphic is a carousel slide ad or whether it's just a graphic or whether it's a video, there is a formula that you need to follow, and it's that 2-step sell formula, which I demonstrated during our presentation. And last but not least, how to create a marketing plan for your business. Now, the irony is that I think 90% of businesses who are running at the moment don't have a marketing plan. They have a good business plan, perhaps, but they don't have a marketing plan. And so therefore, we show you within this manifesto dossier how to put together a marketing plan, which is a must-have for any business. Speaking of marketing plans, guess what else they get, John? I'm doing a little bit of a Tonight Show interview here, but because I'm expecting that you're going to say yes to this. Did you know, John, that within this program, we are going to give members access to every marketing plan that I've put together for previous clients? You're supposed to go, wow.
I did. That's wow. Again, I can't imagine any business owner out there or anybody running a business out there, what incredible information at your fingertips to do anything you need to do. Just swipe it and utilize it. And, you know, JD, I work with a lot of clients, a lot of small businesses. I know you do as well. One of the biggest reasons why businesses fail is because they don't do anything. And the reason why they don't do anything is because they don't know how to do it.
Yep.
And so if I don't know how to do it, I guess I just won't do it, or I'll wait till I figure out how to do it. And then nothing ever happens, and you're losing customers. Your competition is stealing them. All those things you're not meeting your sales quota. All those things are happening while you're frustrated because you don't know how.
Yep.
That JD's got everything you need to know
Join the
right
dots.
there.
Join the dots.
And just It's so simple.
You know, when you were about to say something, then you were sort of pausing because you go, and I was going to cut in and say, he's lost for words.
I did.
He's lost for. It is so good that he's lost for words. I didn't say that because that would sound corny.
I'm at lost for words. When I first saw his program and everything, I said, JD, this is like a lifetime of stuff. This isn't, and I got to tell you, there's nobody on planet Earth that will provide you this much content, material, swipe, easy to use, connect the dots. There's nobody's willing to do that. But again, you need to know how to do this, and JD's going to provide you all the answers.
After that big wrap, there's every chance in the world when we finish this presentation in just a moment that will cost me probably a beer or scotch. Would that be right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
okay. That was a pretty good wrap. Thank you for that, John. Now, the marketing plans you'll see on your screen, I've put together a comprehensive 20 to 30 page marketing plan for just about any industry type that you can think of. And what we've done is when people leave my program, we essentially take out all the confidential information like their name and any turnover and anything that's confidential, just for privacy issues, of course, but you've got the essence of that marketing plan. So it's a marketing plan for a dentistry practice, then you've got a dentistry practice. It's perfect for you. If it happens to be a florist, or if it's a retailer, or it might be a hotel, or it might be agriculture, it might be an online business, that marketing plan is there for you to just grab and insert your details. It's basically a template from heaven and shows you how to attract new customers. And that marketing plan on each occasion covers everything we've been talking about today, both offline and online marketing. So it really is, I think, a massive inclusion that you've got access. And by the way, don't think that just, well, you might be a dentist and think, well, okay, I'll go in and swipe the dentistry marketing plan. You'll find that if you look through a lot of these marketing plans that are in industries that you think have nothing at all to do with you, you'll be able to swipe an idea from that and transfer it into your business. And that's an enormous benefit because you don't want to always look inside your industry. You want to look at things outside of your industry that you can implement something similar in your industry.
That's right.
Now, John, the other thing that is part of this program, and it's an incredible, well, I think so, we're biased, of course, and that is our monthly webinar, which is a smaller version of this, whereby each and every month, John and I will be on a webinar that you can watch. And there are various subject matters in that webinar. John, do you want me to go through a few of those?
Sure. And again, these are things that we know you need help in. We know that you'll be able to watch again and over, but you're going to get great content out of it. And it's things that we know you as a business owner or running a business or part of a business, these are things that are going to help you right away. That's not just blowing smoke. These are things that will help you right away.
And let me touch on a few of those. I guess the first webinar that you'll be able to watch will be one all about creating your dream. And as John says often, it's a famous Walt Disney phrase, and that is, he was destined to create the dream, and without the dream, there wouldn't be Disneyland or Disney World or any of the Disney products. And because he actually had a vision, and that's an important one. Another one is mindset of customers, and John will be helping me show you that the needs and wants philosophy that John touched on during this presentation. And really at the end of the day, you want to ensure that you've got theatre in everything you sell. And you might say, well, look, we're selling a sack of potatoes. It doesn't matter. We'll show you how to add theatre to that, won't we, John?
Absolutely. Because again, people buy on emotion. People buy on that experience. And whether you're selling a sack of potatoes or you're even a dentist, what you're selling three main ingredients: imagination, fantasy, and happiness. And that's what Disney does well. I'm going to show you how every single business, if you can do those same three things, you'll have loyalty that you won't believe, but more importantly, you'll be able to charge whatever you want because people will pay more, JD,
They will.
for fantasy.
They'll pay more for your bag of potatoes.
That's right. That bag of potatoes will come across like gold nuggets.
Absolutely. And I think what we should do, John, there is, in that bag of potatoes, I think we should put one of those little Mickey figurines.
There you go.
Can you imagine the nightmare for someone buying that huge bag of potatoes and the children going, I want the Mickey figurine, and it's down the bottom of the bag of potatoes? I would just like to do that just to stir people. Yeah.
I'm sure.
Okay. Do you think I should get back to something serious?
Probably.
Okay, right. Other subjects that you'll get in these webinars are, roles that people play in your business, and John gave that absolutely brilliantly with the James Bond metaphor with Jason Alexander. Showtime, that's an important one. One of our webinars will be all about how you need to be on stage or on show when you start your business of a daytime. Disney has back of house and front of house. The moment someone comes out from the back of house onto Main Street, what is it, John? They are showtime.
Showtime, and the question is, are you ready? And I'm going to tell you, I do a lot of valuations of businesses all over the world, and some don't get it, that they are on stage. It is showtime, and we all know that when you go to Disney, everything is ready to go. The lights, camera, action. The place is clean. It's spotless. Everybody's in their right place. Everything looks perfect because Disney wants to make sure they give you a great show. And what I find is in businesses that show is not up to par of what you're trying to either charge or the value you're trying to give. Your people, your business, your facilities, everything needs to be ready to go showtime. And I'm going to show you how to do that.
And we're doing that right now, showtime, because you may not know it, but John's in a very bad mood at the moment. But
right.
Because it's showtime,
It is, the show goes on.
yeah, you look sort of happy. You know what? I've known him for many years now. I've never seen him in a bad mood. That annoys me.
It's all part of that Disney. You're
Yeah.
on stage. It's
just not right.
not fair to your customers. It's not fair to your coworkers. You go in there and it's showtime, ready to go.
Yeah,
And
but the point I'm getting at, and you must be too, is that I hate you because you're always nice. You're always happy. And that's impossible. So therefore, well, that's a good enough reason. If you get into moods, or if you're unhappy at the moment, hang around this guy a little bit. You end up wearing really garishly bright
That's right.
ties, and you'll be happy all the time. That's a pretty good sell.
that's a really good sell.
Join the program, you'll be happy.
But more importantly, how would you like to have your employees be as enthusiastic and excited as I am about your business, that they would be in your business too? And that's what we're going to talk about that as well.
True, good point. And if your employees, if it happened to be, female employees, they wore an entire dress that was in those colours, you'd be wearing sunglasses every day. Another one that we'll be covering is creating storytelling. And that is really important because we all know that, creating light and shade or problem solutions in stories is a very, very compelling direct marketing piece. And the other one, of course, quite a number of others, but we won't have time to go through each of the months. There's 12 of them. But the +1 philosophy, that is a very, very important thing, is that when you think you've given enough, sit around the table with a bunch of your team and try and work out, well, what can we do here to +1?
Absolutely. It'll change your business, I guarantee you.
Now, John, this is a big one. I think I've said that for each one of them. I think
They're all big. And you need them all. You need them all.
It's like, we're trying not to be like the infomercial, but it is sometimes where you go, if you think that's good, wait for this.
There's more.
But this is really a big one. And this is, you will be able to have 24/7 access to John. So if you invest in the, if Disney ran your business program, then you're going to have 7 days a week access to this guy via a closed group Facebook page. And so therefore, as a member of our If Disney Ran Your Business program, you will have exclusive access to this guy 24/7. And you simply post on the Facebook page any questions that you have with regards to your business in finding and keeping customers, and John will be back to you. Now, normally, he would be back within 2 or 3 days. We ask that you might give John the luxury of maybe 4 or 5 days, but generally speaking, he's back within 2 or 3. Sometimes you might be sitting in an airport and you might get back to them within 10 minutes. You can't expect that every day of the week, but the fact is that he will be back to you as quickly as possible with an answer to your query.
Yes. Just again, imagine sharing some challenges or a scenario, or maybe it's something with your team, or maybe it's with a customer complaint. And how do I deal with that? Could you imagine at your fingertips going on this wonderful Facebook page and getting access to me to help guide you through that, what to say, what not to say, what your staff should do, and then you're ready to go. And again, all the time. And I just love helping people from that standpoint, roll up my sleeves. But it's just a great thing. And the examples that I've gotten from others, JD, have just been tremendous, and it's been helpful. And you have someone in your corner.
Well, again,
whenever you want
it's
to.
a little bit similar to my Wow Central resource and the resource which was the Manifesto, 12-point system. It's like having me sitting next door to you. Well, this is absolutely like having John sitting next door to you, because when you need to ask a question, you just post that on this private closed group Facebook page, and John will be back to you with a response. It's just like having him in the office next door.
Then the other thing, JD, is sometimes you learn from other customers. So someone else posted something and you say, wow, that's happening in my business too. Or maybe I don't want that to happen in my business. And now you're listening to some of the insight that I'm sharing, and you go, well, let's make sure we share this with our team. So it's a great ongoing learning tool. Share it with your team, share it with your staff. But you'll pick up some great ideas from other businesses that I'm helping or giving some insight as well.
And I've been involved in these closed group Facebook groups myself, where I've run them over my coaching career, and it's really blown me away of how many business owners are so proactive in helping others. So they'll post a question on there perhaps for me, but 3 or 4 other business owners will give their opinion as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And last but not least, certainly not least, the if I had a drum roll sound effect, I would play it right now, because if you book the program, if you actually decide to join the program in the next 60 minutes, John will provide to you an incredible bonus, and that is a 1-hour phone or Zoom or Skype consult with you and perhaps your team. And that will happen in each 6-month period. So therefore, you will have a call that you can actually access John at a time within the first month or 2 of your membership, but also in the second 6-month period of your membership, you are entitled to another call with John. And I'm not expecting that you will blow your own trumpet. You don't tend to do that too much, but John, that is an incredibly valuable bonus for those who become a member in the next 60 minutes, because think about it. You're going to get to talk to this guy about your business and ask him any questions you like with regards to, improving sales and improving the stickiness of your clients. And you're going to be talking direct to him, not an apprentice, okay, not a trainer, but to him.
That's right. And again, imagine sharing with your team, where some people use it as a training tool, where we'll do some training. I'll put a flip chart next to my computer, and we'll start working some things out. We can discuss in advance what you'd like to talk about. But it's a great way. I love it because I interact and I get to know your team and your staff, and I understand their challenges and their frustrations, and even the frustrations that maybe your customers and clients are having. So it's like getting me to, no matter where you are in the world. Technology is great, and we can do it anywhere. We can do it at your convenient time and place. But it's going to be it's a great way of just bringing me into your office, twice a year.
Yep.
Or more.
Yep. It's terrific. Well, John, I think it's time now to give you the investment. It is a crazily low investment. Yes, we're biased, but we think it is. And here we go. Okay, so here's the deal. If you want to join the program, which is called If Disney Ran Your Business, what would it look like? It's a 12-month program, and so therefore there's a monthly subscription that you make. But look, when you hear the number that we're going to give you in just a second, and of course, if you decide to become a member within the next 60 minutes, you get the 2 personal consults with John on Skype or Zoom or phone. Think about this. When I give you the number, even if you were a college student and you were just thinking of setting up your own part-time online business or offline business, this is affordable for you. If you're a small business and you've been running for 1 or 2 or 5 years and your sales are flatlined, this will be wildly affordable for you. And if you're a bigger business whereby you are doing 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 or $20 million, then this will be an absolute steal for you, because if you think about what you would pay us if we were to come on board to assist you on a consultancy basis, then you'd be putting your hand in your pocket for tens of thousands of dollars a month. And I know that might sound a little boastful, but I know the sort of earning potential that we've had. I've had one client, which happened to be a bank in Australia, who I scored Jerry Seinfeld to do their advertising, and they were paying me $34,000 a month. Now, that's a lot of money for a consultant, but guess what? I got Jerry Seinfeld to do their advertising, so I know who got the better end of that deal. And I have clients in Australia who pay me $10,000 and $12,000 and $15,000 a month for the same advice and the same templates that I'll be providing in this program. And John gets paid, he's probably too shy to say this himself, but John gets paid $10,000, $15,000 and more for keynote speeches right across America and around the world. And these keynote speeches are for an hour and a half. So the reason I'm giving you that information is not necessarily for a credibility build, it's just telling you really what people pay us if we're going to be providing them with what's between these ears. Okay, so the investment you need to make in this If Disney Ran Your Business program is a very modest $297 per month. That's all it is for everything in the program, $297 a month. John I think that if I was on that side of the camera and I was watching this on my iPhone or my desktop or my tablet, I'd be pretty interested in getting 60-minute Skype call with you or phone call with you. What does someone have to do in order to get that call? They've got to actually become a member in the next
60 minutes. That's it. And I can't wait to get that call scheduled right away, and let's get your business going. Let's get that experience going. Let's get your team involved. Let's get that.
John, I want to ask you a question. I've been on the other side of webcasts, and as a viewer, you tend to be a bit skeptical. If this person who's watching becomes a member in the next 60 minutes for $297 a month, and it's a 12-month program, and therefore they get the bonus of having a 1-hour Skype or phone call with you or Zoom, is it really you, or is it an impressionist who sounds like you?
No, it's me, JD, and one of the great things of my existing clients that we do this is that I get to know them, and I become part of your family, and you become part of my family from a standpoint of I know who your employees are, I know who your leaders are, I know more about your business, you know about what I can do, and it becomes you're working with somebody you like, but more importantly, you're working with somebody that knows and is interested in your success. I'm not just doing this to make me successful. I'm doing it because I want you to be successful, and people look forward to it. We talk about it, we share, and those are the things that are going to help you get better and your team get better right away.
The reason I'm asking that, John, is because the nature of this program, called If Disney Ran Your Business, what would it look like? There may be someone watching this now thinking that you've got an audio animatronic version of you that sounds like you,
No.
and that's who they'll be talking to. So it's not like the president's thing at the
No, you're stuck with me, and I hope that's a good thing, because it's again, I'm passionate to help you, but as JD says, you're not going to get my assistant, you're not going to get some college kid, you're going to get me.
That's my point.
And over 35 years managing in the service industry and with Disney, and now I'm turning around companies and businesses just like yours around the world. I know what some of the things that they've done that has been successful. Well, why can't we just duplicate that and do that in your business as well? And that's, you're going to get me to help you do that.
I wanted to clarify that because you will not be getting an apprentice, you'll be getting John. Absolutely. Thanks very much for watching. We look forward to you becoming a member.